So I am not about to hold you at all. I just want to get on here and do a really quick rant right fast about Will Smith doing a new slavery movie and P Valley. So first I'm probably gonna watch the episode of P Valley again. But before I go into my ideas about P Valley, because this rant with Will Smith is gonna be really, really quick. So at first I used to be upset about black people being in slave movies. Like I just wasn't here for it at all. Like I got aggravated when I heard black people, doing slave movies. Like I used to get upset. I was just tired of slave movies. But what I realized is now, like if you watch enough slave movies, you know that all of the slaves didn't look like slaves. The overseers and the house slaves was dressed pretty nice. And when you understand, when you look at it from an angle where time has been progressing and there are so many more people on the planet now than there was 200-300 years ago, the population has increased dramatically. And so there's levels to slavery, and there's always been levels to slavery. And we were able to more closely identify those levels, when there were a smaller population of slaves. But now, child, so many of us is tied up to the machine. A huge percentage of us just look like overseers and house slaves. And so the bigger question is, what isn't a slavery movie at this point? Like, people be talking about they tired of seeing slavery movies. You're tired of seeing slavery movies where it's not dressed up. You're tired of seeing slavery movies where it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no chaser, ain't nothing to dilute it. It's just in your face. No way around this. This is slavery. But you don't mind seeing the dressed up commercialized slavery. You don't mind seeing the peacocking slavery. So, if you gonna give it to me straight. If you gonna tell me a slave story, don't dress that shit up, don't put bells and whistles on it. Just give me a master out, give me out in the fields looking. And so I'm looking at Will Smith saying, okay, they slapped him. He went on the stage and he slapped Chris Rock and got a little too big for his britches. Master said, we gonna let you slide with that. You got big for your britches. You done tricked the people into believing that you're free. We need you to do some work for us to get everything back the way it should be, because you done started giving folk bright ideas that they could walk up to Master on stage, they could walk up to the elites and walk up to the well-to-do. So we need to fix that. We need to get that back in line. And you look at the two movies he's coming out with next. He's coming out with the cop movie with Martin Lawrence. I love the cops. I know y'all just doing your job, but at the end of the day, y'all oversee us for massa. Amen, a woman. So you got him coming out in an overseer movie and a slave movie. And I ain't mad at him. Get your change. Do what you need to do for your cheering. Because everybody, who ain't doing a slave movie at this point? Anytime you got to get in front of the camera and be worried about ratings, you got to have drama and maliciousness and have, people fighting against each other, arguing and beating on each other and mistreating each other and chasing after, material things. That's slavery. That's just dressed up slavery. So Who ain't in the slavery movie at this point, you know? And where do I sign up? Because, you know, if I'm going to be in a slavery movie, I just want to go full on slave. Don't try to dress it up and make it look. Don't try to dress it up and make it look fancy and fool the people in believing that is something else when it ain't. You know, like they tell us, you know, the trans folk, you know, you can dress up, you can put a prom dress on a pig, but at the end of the day, it's still a pig. So like they try to tell us, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Slavery just is what it is. You out there tap dancing and cooning. It don't matter if you got on Gucci and Giuseppe and Prada and Fendi and all that. You're still tap dancing for that bag. You're still getting that 9-foot bag. Yes, sir. So that's enough of the Will Smith thing. I just wanted to, you know, give my little 2 cents on the whole Will Smith thing. But not on this P-Valley thing. I'm going to speak to that real fast because I'm finna watch it again. I ain't going to hold you. But I really don't like them putting the grandmother in the hospital by herself. You know, even though you know, that's an accurate, people dying in the hospital alone. I really hope they don't do that to Loretta Devine. I hope they don't, you know, to her character. I hope she don't die alone like that. I just don't want to see that. Like, you know, please don't do that to her, you know. But then I'm looking and I'm like, how is she gonna? I mean, she's always wanted them to be together, and I think her passing, you know, from a writing perspective, her passing would definitely bring Lil Murder and Uncle Cliff together. Like I think it will bring them closer together. I love this example, and I know gay people, you know, is ready to claim Uncle Clifford, but gay is not the oldest thing. Like, we treat gay like gay is the root, like gay is the beginning, like same gender loving is the beginning. This is just my personal opinion. This is not a law. I think that heterosexualism and also homosexuality to a certain extent become a perversion because it is an opposition to what we all are biologically, and that is part female and part male, because those entities have to come together to create us. And so while, you know, 2 males cannot come together and procreate and 2 females cannot come together and procreate that we know of, it still doesn't make sense that males should only be attracted to females and females should only be attracted to males. I get why it would help if they were attracted to each other to procreate. I get that, but I just feel like we're intelligent enough beings to be able to still breed and procreate and still have emotional and intellectual connections with people who we're not able to procreate with. You know, I don't feel like it's that complicated, and I feel like this reality that we live in makes it so complicated. Like, it's not complicated. If you love your mother and you love your father and you love the examples that they provided for you, then it's not odd or weird that you would be attracted to beings of both sexes. So I just, like, gay is not the first thing. Like, being homosexual is not the first thing. It's not the root of the tree. Like, a lot of times, especially in the Black community specifically, we root everything in gay. And gay, like I always say, at one point in time, Gay was about beings who expressed gender non-conforming behavior. Gay gay was about identifying behavior. Like when 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when you called a female gay, you were identifying that the female acted like a boy or acted masculine. When you identified a male that was acting feminine, you were identifying that the male had female or feminine behavior. And so let's not confuse Uncle Clifford's role, get so caught up in, ooh, Uncle Clifford, has a male body, or Uncle Clifford is XY, so we can label him gay and throw him in the gay box. Uncle Clifford is an example of gender nonconforming and is an example of a whole being. Like, this is like what I love about Uncle Clifford's character is that femininity is natural and that masculinity is natural, and Uncle Clifford naturally sets in both of them. Like, you really, really get that. And I love in this episode they talked about Uncle Clifford's ancestors. Like, I was really, really here for that. So yeah, Uncle Clifford is modeling wholeness, and I just really hope that we don't get so caught up in this patriarchy that y'all just be making Uncle Clifford a win for gayness, because it's so much bigger than that. Like, Uncle Clifford's role is so much bigger than that. And when he said, everybody can't handle standing in this sunlight, and and don't nobody get a pass with me. That's how I felt when I first started my transition. Like, I thought like that. Like, you're not finna keep me a secret. That's why I started presenting feminine. That's why I started embracing my 4 months, because I knew what I was and I didn't want people to be able to hide me. But during the time that I was living in the area that I lived in, I'm not 6'5" or 6'3" like Uncle Cliff. I'm 5'8", and I just got a little weight on me, in this older age. So I wasn't no girl that could really be just, going toe to toe. I just honestly felt like, also, if I wouldn't have went further in my transition, my mouth and just my anger and as upset as I used to be about everything, I definitely would have gotten myself killed. A girl wouldn't have made it to 32, 33. Like, I would have been one of those girls statistically who died by 34. If it wasn't for me further in my transition and having bottom surgery, because I had my orchiectomy first, and I hate to say it, how dogs get calm after they go and have their little surgery done, honey. I was calmed down. So I had to calm my ass down to survive, honey, for survival. But so it's beautiful to see Uncle Cliff's narrative for me. Like, I'm living for Uncle Cliff's narrative because Uncle Cliff is modeling wholeness. Uncle Clifford is an example of wholeness, and I think that he's helping Lil Murder to find his wholeness. So, because you see Lil Murder like coming out of his shell, yeah. So many of the narratives on the show resonate with me. I noticed they've been talking a lot about abortion lately on a lot of different shows, because on The Shy, the little girl was getting ready to have an abortion, but she decided to have the baby. And on P-Valley, the girl went on ahead and had the abortion, and they brought up, was she going to hell and all of that. And she was like, if you go to hell, I'm going to be right there with you. I know that's right. And Quiet as kept already right there with you, because this is hell. But anyway, so, yeah, I didn't want to hold y'all long on this video. I just wanted to come on here and do that quick little rant. Oh, we kept it to 15 minutes. I I love y'all. I'ma light this in honor of the ancestors. I heard. Past, present, and future. I love you. Dambudanamdala Seku keeps spinning and turning in Gani Yanko Kulukalo, which means I am a child of God, Goddess, and if I am, you know you are.